Let's talk about keywording and doing things in collections. I love collections. For example, while you were sleeping, I actually made a favorite out of one of my folders, and it's for Amtrak trips that I take. I love traveling on the train. So I open up this one right here. I've got a lot of stuff in there. If I come down here into filtering and get into, say, keywords, there are no keywords, but there are 76 images in this folder. I can see that number. I can now begin sorting things by how many are landscape or how many are portrait. So what I'm doing here is I'm clicking on the orientation. A check mark comes up. It shows me the 7. If I uncheck it, we're back in an unfiltered situation. Now, none of this information is what I've put in myself. These are not keywords. But it's a good place to filter, like every image taken at 1/4 of a second, or every image coming down taken at a 160th of a second, which is 21. So this would be a way to find something that you need if you have some general idea of maybe its exposure, aperture, focal length, things like that. But we also have keywords, don't we? Actually, let's get back into here and let's turn that one back off so we get everything. Okay, let's close that out. Over here are keywords. Now, I know a lot of these images were taken in Chicago's Union Station. And what I want to do is I want to keyword them to Chicago's Union Station. So we need to work on keywords. Now, you got 2 areas in keywords. You have a main area right here, and these are given to you by Adobe. Birthday, graduation, weddings, Matthew and Ryan. I'm sure those are the only 2 people's names you know. New York, Paris, San Francisco, San Jose, and Tokyo, or other keywords. Let's create a new keyword. We're going to click this button right here, the big one. And we'll call it train travel, because not all train travel is on Amtrak, but that's what I want next. That's what I want as a keyword. So I'm going to come down here to the sub-keyword button underneath train travel. Now it's going to move it down alphabetically. That's why I did that. And I'm going to type in Amtrak. Now I want another keyword under train travel, but I don't want it as a subcategory of Amtrak. So before I make the next one, I'm going to click back on the word train travel before I click this button here. And we're going to type in Chicago. Okay, so we got 2 keywords now under the category of train travel. Every item that's in this list is Amtrak. So I'm going to press Control A, and I'm going to come down here and click Amtrak. Now what it will do is it will apply the word Amtrak as a keyword to all the images in this folder. Takes it about a second to do it, and we're done. But I do know also that some of these images are actually taken in Chicago, and I can find it right here. We're on the train. We're leaving Chicago at this point. So from that point all the way up to here, shift-click. These are Amtrak, but they're also Chicago. Get it? No big deal. Chicago. And now once we've accomplished that, we have a lot of different ways to work here to find these images again. Because if we come back into here, well, now we're back into those folders. We know they're in here because we just left there. So let's go ahead and get out of that folder completely. How would we find them again? Well, one way, you can go up to the word Edit. Find is always under the word Edit, it seems. And we have a Find right here. This is just one way to do it. And we can say, I want you to look in where? Well, I want you to look on not just Amtrak. We know they're there. But in my image files, which is where they came from. Now I want to tell the computer, let's get rid of this. I want keywords that contain, this is the last thing I typed in, I want Amtrak. It's not case sensitive, so you really don't have to capitalize it. Now match if all criteria are met. Look in subfolders, include non-index files, which if they're not indexed can take a bit of time, and click Find. Now it's finding all of those images for me, and there they are. But let's go back again. Let's go back to Edit, and let's go into Find again. I want all images that contain Amtrak and contain Chicago. So let's go ahead and click File name? No. I want keywords. And you can have all kinds of things in here. The keywords contain Chicago. Now watch what happens when I do this. It will only give me the ones in Chicago. But you've got to think of Boolean logic here. If we go back again and go into find. The reason this worked is because I said all the criteria must be met. That's an and situation. Keyword contains Amtrak and the keyword contains Chicago. If I come in here and say if any of the criteria are met and do it again, it will give me all of the Amtrak because all of them are keyworded with Amtrak. So you got to watch your logic here. It's either an and or situation. So let's go back again. We've got the ones that we want. So we found them, and that's cool. I've got no problem with that once or ever. What I want to do now, I need these images from Chicago someplace else. Okay? I want them someplace else. I could come over here, make a folder, and drag them into it, I suppose. But then I'd be moving them from the original Amtrak folder. That's where collections come in right here. I love these things. You've got two kinds, a regular run-of-the-mill collection and a smart collection. So let's start by going down and selecting or creating a new collection. And we'll call this Amtrak Chicago. Notice it says nothing's in there yet. Let's go back to our Amtrak folder and let's go into Edit and go down to Find. It'll still be there for us. And let's just go ahead and click Find again. Well, there they are. Press Control A and drag them in. They're in the same folder they were originally. This is a temporary folder. Check this out. Come up to this button right here and select Review Mode. That's kind of neat. What you've got is 61 items in this set. And what I can do is I can click this button and I can begin going through them. You say, oh, I don't want that one. So you grab it right here and drag it down until it says deselect. Move through them one at a time. You say, well, I don't want that one. Well, you can click this button right here too. Don't want that one. And that one's okay. So you go through it, choosing the ones you want, removing the ones you want. So now, in a sense, we have a different collection. We have one that we took some images out of. If I come to this button right here, I've just made a collection from Review Mode, which is different than this one because we deleted some images and we could give that another name. Cherry-picked images. I think that should have a hyphen, but that's all right. So now we have two. But that's not all. There is one more type of collection that I really like, and it's called a smart collection. So we're going to come down to this button right here and say Smart Collection. Okay, we want to look in. We know where they are. We'll go ahead and say here. I want every image that has a keyword of Amtrak, but not a keyword. I want a rating on this one. And it has a rating of 5 stars. So all criteria, click Save. Well, none of those images had 5 stars, but this is a smart collection. So we're going to come back up here to Amtrak, and we're going to open up the folder, and say I select, I'll just do a few of these. These are my 5-star images. I love these things. So I'm going to press the number 5 on my keyboard, and they all now have 5 stars. And if I come back to Smart Collection, there they are. Smart collections change based on the criteria on a real-time basis. Collections are used when you don't want to move the images physically from one folder to another, but you need them at one point in time, and these can come from any folder anywhere as long as the criteria is met. Keywording and collections. 2 awesome areas in Bridge to help you get what you need. Reducing complexity, increasing creativity. On to the next.